I think that Micallef cigars are unsung because I think as a brand it's unsung. Now, admittedly, when Micallef, Micallef, first made it to the market, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, and I don't know how to pronounce that, and the whole thing's just frightening me. And then we got to meet the Micallef people. We got to try the cigars. They're building something very nice, very easy to do, very easy to smoke, very easy to take part in, and pretty dang easy on the wallet. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite drinker, Fingers Malloy, and this is the Micallef Red. Now, we have done the black, we have done the blue, and I'm a fan of the blue. I like it quite a bit. The red here, we're doing as a Toro, which is 6x52, which means it's 6 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge of 52, the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. This is a Mexican wrapper with Pennsylvania broadleaf in the binder and a filler that is Mexican and Nicaraguan. I love Pennsylvania broadleaf Fingers Malloy. I love that. But you don't often see it or at least I haven't, as a binder. That's not an everyday thing.
No, but I do feel like we have done a few Pennsylvania.
Yes. Oh, have you ever been to Pennsylvania? They have the finest in cheese dips.
Cheese dips. That's what you went with.
That's what came to mind.
I feel like we've done a few Pennsylvania broadleaf cigars in the last few months. Have we not?
I think yes, we have. It's just, but it nothing's intentional with us. Like, we're not that smart. It is just luck of the draw about, what got ordered or what we were able to find, what we were able to see in whatever shop that we were in. For example, I just placed a gigantic order for Olivas, Milanios, a deal on Robustos that I was able to come across. They're in.
Well, that's interesting because you're not usually a Robusto guy, are you?
Not at all. But so you're talking about basically like a 5-inch cigar, right? 5.25-inch cigar. No, not my size. Toro at the very minimum. I like Churchills. That's where I like to be. That's where I feel comfortable in size, 7 inches. Right? That's the amount of time that I give myself. I know how I smoke, and a Robusto just too short for me. But there are times when I'm in studio, I'm doing the radio shows, like my own shows or something else. I'm like, it fits my time frame now a little bit better. So I got some naturals, got some Maduros, and I'm like, this is gonna work for me. This is good. And the deal was just too dumb. Like, I for a dumb deal, I can suffer every single bit of the way. But anyway, back to the Micallef Red here. We just lit this up. First things first. It feels better than it looks. So it's more to a medium brown. You can see the leaf in it. There's some striations going on of black. Yeah, somebody got a dictionary for the holidays. And so you can see that, but it isn't the prettiest looking cigar. It's fine. Don't get me wrong. What it is it feels really, really good in the hand, and there's just the right amount of oil. There's a smoothness, not glass, right? You're not talking about that, but there's a smoothness going on to the wrapper here that feels nice. And in terms of weight, it's a nice piece. I like it.
Yeah, there's a nice little bit of heft to it. I would also say that you mentioned oil. It is, I don't want to say it's dry because it's not dry, but it's not overly oily at all. It has a nice heft to it. The texture is nice on the wrapper. The color is great. I love the band on it. That's nice as well.
The red with the gold.
Yeah, it's got a regal kind of feel to it, does it not?
Which is what I think they were going for. Now, I was looking at this wrapper, and I'm like, it's Mexican. So you think Mexican San Andreas, but there's definitely a spice that hits as we've just lit this up. We've just started smoking this. You want to get your notebooks out. Always want to get your notebook and start a new one each year. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? What is the weather? It's 1 degree in Indianapolis, Indiana. What?
I'm over this.
You're from Michigan.
I am, but I'm also getting older. 20 years ago, I'm out shoveling snow in shorts and a t-shirt. Now, my goodness, if it gets below 20 degrees, I'm just completely over it. And it's been ridiculously cold the last week.
Now, where kids are out of the house and all that, are going to be out of the house, I have decided that after this, I buy the snowblower. Oh yeah, I'm snowblower shopping in the next couple weeks. Do you want to come?
I'll show you what I have.
Do you have? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, I did. Look at you. You're so excited.
Well,
so proud of yourself. Have you become that guy? Because I am not the guy who brags about what's in my garage. Yet here you are, like, oh, let me show you my snowblower.
Well, it does, not to brag or anything, Tony. I got it for free, which was amazing. But it has not only you can go forward, it's got like 8 gears. You can go in reverse. It has a headlight. It blows snow about 175 feet.
Challenge accepted.
It's amazing.
It's gas, right?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
But once you get over a certain age, and we may get into this a little bit later, when you get a little older, you need to start worrying about those snow shoveling related heart attacks.
God, this show has become a bummer. We used to just review cigars and bourbon and not a care in the world. And now, how to avoid heart attacks with Tony and Fingers. Good gosh. So you get your notebook out. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? 1 degree. What's the temperature? Because that all affects palate. And then you as you smoke the cigar, you break it into thirds, right? First third, second third, final third, right? You break it up in your mind and you're like, what are the flavors that I'm getting out of this? You write that down. When you have a cigar a month later, 3 months later, 6 months later, whatever it is, you compare your notes. You're like, okay, that's what I really felt about the cigar. That's my through line. That's where my flavors were. There is an outrageous amount of spice coming off this cigar, Fingers Malloy. Outrageous. I don't know if that's red pepper. I don't know if I would call that black pepper. It's also coming across a little bit brighter than I would have normally expected, because this is not just a Mexican San Andreas. It's a San Andreas Habano. And those Habano wrappers are definitely going to give you the spice. That's just, you go back and take a look. You'll be like, Habano, you're going to have a spiciness. What do you get?
Well, I was going to go with white pepper, but that spice is definitely there. And it's not a huge punch in the face, but it lets you know that it's there. And there's also a little bit of a sweetness that I can't really put my finger on.
So I can't figure out if I would describe it as herbal. Or, you brought up tea about the cigar we had, the Las Calaveras we had last week. Yeah, this is not tea. Forget that. But the idea of herbal, there is something kind of uniquely baking going on, or flowery.
I was going to say floral, and I stopped myself.
Nah, don't stop yourself. You be you.
Because I said tea last week, and my goodness, the amount of anti-tea people out there.
I'm an anti-teaite. I apologize for nothing. There's a lot happening. And wait till I tell you the price of the cigar.
Oh.
Is this in your humidor? Eventually, people learn their lesson. And more often than not, that comes through pain. That's how Fingers Malloy learned not to put his hand inside the lawnmower.
You don't do that?
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com.
Dad said it builds character.
Oh, Dad didn't love you like you should.
Probably true.
Let me take you back, Fingers Malloy. Let me take you back. The year was 2016. A young Donald Trump was thinking about a political future. And people went to Starbucks like it was their job. A religion, perhaps, had to get themselves a soy latte, extra soy and extra latte. They had to say, you know what? I want a croissant. No, I'd rather have that cookie. Whatever's going to cost me $42. If you could just do that for me, Starbucks, that's where I want to be. And oh, by the way, your baristas are great. If they would just tell me more about their politics and their personal feelings about everything, then my life would be complete. Those were heady days, Fingers Malloy. The heady days of Starbucks. And Starbucks back then decided to tell America that, you know what, you did not have to order anything to be here. You didn't have to order nothing to be here. What you had to do, Fingers Malloy, was simply walk in to our shop and say, "Shopkeep." That's a Fingers Malloy impression I just did. Shopkeep. I'm gonna. What I need to do is I need to just take your chair right here. Well, that chair is for paying customers. Paying customers. Balderdash. And they would say words like that, and then people would grab dictionaries and look up what they mean. And yeah, they allowed non-paying customers to use their bathrooms and non-paying customers to sit in their shop. This, as we all knew it, was, I believe the Latin is a mistake. The dumbest idea in the world. People aren't paying, taking seats from paying customers, then trying to panhandle in the stores, utilizing the bathrooms, making messes of bathrooms. And Starbucks was like, we're just so inclusive, or whatever it was they were screaming. You remember these days.
They even included the arm wave that you just did.
Well,
we are so inclusive.
Right.
And they encourage the loitering Larrys and loitering Loises of the world to just hang out in Starbucks all day long. And when they would say, listen, Larry, isn't it about time you bought a steaming hot cup of Joe from us? And he would say, who can afford to buy a coffee at Starbucks? I'm just going to sit in your chair.
And so that's what they did. And that's what they did. Well, after all these years, they have now made the change that if you're going to be in their shop, you have to buy something.
Oh, hallelujah.
Eventually, everybody learns. Now, it's much harder to learn when you are in a cult. And it is. And it's much harder to learn when you're trying to learn on somebody else's dime. When you're spending somebody else's money, it's much harder to learn you're not affected. But eventually, Starbucks looks at sales, then they look at cost of goods, right? And the increase in their COGS, the cost of goods, and they say to themselves, something is amiss here. And then they take a look at their bathroom cleaning costs or what's actually happening in their seating, and they're like, oh. And so they've learned their lesson, and so they are reversing course, as ABC News reports it, reversing their open door policy to prioritize paying customers. If you have to say the words, we've decided to prioritize paying customers, how were you ever in business to begin with? Fingers Malloy.
Well, don't you feel like they kind of dipped their toe into this whole world a few years ago during the pandemic, where there were complaints of homeless people coming in and just using the bathroom and then wrecking the bathroom? And I don't mean wrecking it as in I had 4 gas station burritos and went in there. I'm talking about just making
it could have been that.
It could have been that. But they were making a mess, and people were complaining, hey, I can't use the restroom in here because you've got a lot of homeless people, non-paying customers coming in here. And there was a backlash, if you remember. People were upset. I think this time around they said, listen, we are prioritizing paying customers.
We are prioritizing being in business. Why is that considered a problem? That is a standard. I accept the terms of your deal. I walk in, I hand you green pieces of paper that are dollars, which nobody uses them. I hand you a credit card, and then you hand me coffee. Now, the fact that you think you could charge me $6 is criminally insane. The fact that people pay the $6 equally criminally insane. But this is how did it take them so long?
You know what took them so long is the fact that they were seeing Starbucks struggling, and people are reevaluating if it's worth it to go into Starbucks to grab that $6 coffee, and they're reevaluating their priorities as consumers. And so now they're making it more welcoming for their coffee shop to bring people into
I wanted to do this again. How did it take them more than 7 seconds? Why did it take the first 7 seconds? Do you really think you're a bad person? Did they think they were bad people by saying, sorry, you have to be a paying customer?
Mm-hmm.
They could have said anybody uses the bathroom, but no, you can't take up a chair if you're not a paying customer. That could have been I think that's a mistake, but at least you could have rationally said, we let people use the bathroom. It's who we are.
Like a gas station.
Like a gas station. But sit there and take up table space, that is ideological. And as a matter of just rational thought, that doesn't make any sense. But you're right, the backlash. This was the start of people really caving and businesses caving to all sorts of outrageous demands, regardless of where your politics are. There was it took place, this crazed caving to anybody's desires, anybody's feelings, of you have to do this, you have to do that. If you don't do it, well, we're going to, post a bad Yelp review or say bad things about you, or we're going to lead a protest against you, and then you're going to go out of business. And people saw their businesses being destroyed in other areas and spots, and it just exacerbated the situation. And maybe we just have turned a corner based on exhaustion. If you want to argue that it was the election, you can, but maybe the election was about exhaustion. This way of living where if you don't do everything right, you're vilified and you're destroyed. It's no way to live. There's your whole day spent walking on eggshells for fear that you might say the wrong thing to the wrong person in the wrong spot. Nobody wants to live like that. And maybe that's what this is.
I feel sorry for the people, if you're going to talk about that and have that conversation. I feel sorry for the people who have devoted their lives the last 10 years to outrage mining. Their whole brand
profit. Their whole brand, their whole life is nothing but being outraged and being angered and finding the thing that you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, but they're going to find the thing that you did wrong because they've decided that you somehow are wrong. They have profited off of that. They have been able to create opportunities for themselves. And if they're failing, well, then I feel good.
Oh, thoughts and prayers to those people.
Look at you. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, smoking the Micallef Red right here. The Toro, the 6x52 with that San Andreas Habano wrapper, USA, Pennsylvania broadleaf in the binder, and a filler that, if I remember correctly, comes out of Mexico and Nicaragua. There is spice on this. And I'm telling you, that spice was big. Calm down a little bit. There is a flavor that I cannot put my finger on here, but I am kind of amazed at what is happening here with a level of sweetness, with a level of smoothness. It's a very, very nice stick, Fingers.
Oh, I just had a bad time on the retro hail.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay now, but for a hot second there, it was a bit of a struggle, but right? I made it through a-okay. Yep, that spice for me has subsided a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more tobacco. There's also a sweetness there, and maybe this is a situation where, other than the spice, there aren't a lot of other notes that are really hitting me. I don't know if that's how you feel about it, but there's also like this little bit of like a floral or some other, you mentioned herbal. There's something there that I just can't quite put my finger on.
There's an undercurrent going on with the cigar that it's first things first, super enjoyable. Super enjoyable. This is well done. The draw on this is excellent. I have not touched up at all. It's been very, very easy to smoke, very easy to work with, but I can't decide what that is. Usually, if you say to me, well, is it like earthy or rich? Usually earthy is like a more, there's a more specific flavor to that. There's sometimes a mustiness, there's sometimes a dirt, there's a specific way I would go about describing earthiness. And this is not it, but I don't think that that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I don't think it's a bad thought if I were to say this is earthy. It isn't particularly bready, right? I'm not getting that chewiness. I'm not getting that sweetness. Like if you chew a piece of bread and you keep chewing, and 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 keep chewing,
and chew some more.
That is a breadiness, and that's not what this is. But is it herbal? Is it floral? Is it? I can't decide. What I know is I'm enjoying but I can't figure out what that flavor is at all.
Okay, so you teased it earlier in the show. I have to know, how much is this cigar?
Can't tell you. You don't deserve to know.
Drag.
You haven't earned
Is it because I asked?
It's because we'll turn this whole show right around. We will go back home. Is this, Fingers Malloy, the Micallef Red, the Toro 6x52? Is this in your humidor for $8 a stick?
Oh, stop it. Yes, absolutely.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. $8 a stick all day. Now, if you're not somebody who's big into spice, not your cigar. There's no value there. There can't be a value there. But if you're somebody who's like, well, yeah, I dig it, all day long. Wonderfully constructed, feels good in the hand, got a bit of a Billy Club kind of feel to it, right? It's got some heft, which we prefer more than, let's say, what we call a wiffle ball bat, where it's just too light. It's kind of, you feel like it's going to get destroyed or thrown out of your hand at any second. This is nice.
I mean, my goodness, because of everything that's happened in the last few years with inflation, to be able to find a cigar that has, one strong note and a few other subtle notes, well constructed at that price point, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. This is solid. So far, Micallef is 3 for 3. And if you're asking me how I would rank them, the blue, the black, and the red, it would be blue, red, black. That's where I would be. And it's not that I'm opposed to the black. It's that I don't mind strength. I really don't mind a big, bold cigar. I find myself less interested over the years in going down that road. That is rarer than it is standard. Give me a medium plus kind of stick, and I'm a super happy man for the afternoon parts of the day. But I will tell you, it was number 3 on my list for cigars of the year from J.C. Newman, the Diamond Crown, Connecticut. I'm telling you, the explosion of good Connecticut cigars is one of the underrated stories of the last couple of years. And I have that La Galera's Connecticut, just so many good options. And we got to do a whole show on Connecticut. So that has to come. Somebody write that down and then put it in the minutes, and then we'll check it at the next board meeting. But it's time, Fingers Malloy, for news of the week.
So, Tony, the Lexington Herald Leader is reporting that Brown-Forman, the Kentucky Spirits company that makes Jack Daniels and Woodford Reserve bourbon, announced that it will lay off 12% of its workforce.
Let me now tell you a story about how big I think this is. First of all, Brown-Forman, we're talking Jack Daniels. We're talking about 5,400 people that they hire worldwide. So if you do the math and you take 10%, which is 540, and then you take a percent, which is 54, and multiply that by 2, which is 108, and you add it to the 540, you get 9 million people. 600 people are going to lose their jobs. And in Louisville, they're getting rid of the cooperage. Cooperage is the people who build the barrels. They have made the determination that to outsource the barrels is better financially. And there is something profound in that statement. Because if we were discussing this 2 years ago, you couldn't get a barrel from a cooperage. They were all spoken for. You couldn't find a barrel anywhere. We tried. It couldn't happen. But now the cooperage has so much available inventory that it's cheaper to buy it instead of doing it on your own. If you're the size of Jack, that's a bad story for the bourbon business. And it goes with a Wall Street Journal piece that says quite clearly the bourbon boom is over.
Which is amazing because, and it's something that we've discussed when it comes to the cigar industry, right? Is we have said that, when we go to the Premium Cigar Association trade show, the people there kept saying, well, cigar business is great, but boy, it's cyclical. Are we getting close to the point where sales are going to just fall, down the tubes, and people are always preparing for that? When it comes to bourbon, there hasn't been that discussion because of what you said. I mean, especially what the supply chain issues with the barrels, and man, we're making so much bourbon, we can't keep the barrels. They can't keep up when it comes to making them. this is really a stunning turn of events, Tony. And I guess my concern is, of course, the people that are being laid off. That's terrible. I'm also concerned. What does this mean for the uh, local distilleries around the country? Are we going to see some of them shutting down because they aren't going to be able to survive if this is truly the beginning of the end of the bourbon boom?
Having thought about this, allow me to throw something even more dire into the situation. And I'm not saying the situation is wholly and totally dire as of yet. I'm asking the following question. If we were to agree, because it's just because the Wall Street Journal wrote it doesn't mean that's true. I think the story of Brown-Forman is much more telling of a story. That's a data point. If we were to agree that there are smaller distilleries that aren't going to be able to compete with the bigger guys and they're going to go out of business, who are they selling their barrels to? If the industry is down, you have to be selling to somebody who can have a place to store that and can wait it out. Oh, I take a look at that cascading effect and say, this is bad, except I have not, except for things anecdotally, I'm not hearing panic. I'm only hearing, hey, things ebb and flow. And that's where we are in the cycle.
And unfortunately, will this be actually good news for the consumer? Are we going to see some of these bourbon prices start to drop?
If supply and demand is real, and supply and demand is very real, you would think that could depend on tariffs. It's a whole nother conversation. There's unhealthy, there's really unhealthy, and then there's what Fingers Malloy eats.
I find the Fingers Malloy food pyramid is one of the healthiest food pyramids out there. And that means there's two.
I believe that you have cornered the market on food pyramids. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Valentine's Day is coming up, and nothing says I love you like a brisket. Learn how to make one by buying our book, Let's Go Barbecue. Let's Go BBQ, recipes, tips, and tales from the pit. You can find that at Amazon.com. You can also find Let's Go Bourbon, our original book, the bourbon reader you've always needed. It is there as well. This is the year for Let's Go Grill. This is the year, Fingers Malloy. Get your writing pen, get your quill ready, get your ink all set, your drafting table out.
See, I thought we were already done with that book. I thought you were going to announce that it's going to come out in 2 weeks.
It's not.
Oh.
We have to write it.
Oh, there's that.
We delayed it.
Do people even write books anymore?
No, they AI it.
That's what I thought.
We're not those people.
Good.
We're not those people. You are going to be able to find all the books at Amazon.com. But Let's Go Barbecue and Let's Go Bourbon available at Amazon.com. This was, we hinted at it. Fingers Malloy found a list. As you know, we love a list here at Eat, Drink, Smoke, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. The 30 unhealthiest frozen foods in America, which I'm getting the feeling, I think this is a recycled list. I think this is a rehash, Fingers Malloy. I think what these people do is they take a list and then they publish it. And then, like Disney with their movies, they put them in the vault. They go in the vault, and then at a time certain when people have forgotten about it but still have a longing for it, huzzah! Published again, they bring the list, this time with new added disgusting frozen delicacies.
Well, here's what I find incredibly amusing about this list as we go over it. I think the first 5 items on this list have been in my freezer in the last month and a half.
I believe the first 5 items you had for breakfast this morning. On the list, and by the way, are these listed from best to worst, or this is just a list? Jimmy Dean pancakes and sausage on a stick. You've had these?
Oh, of course.
Really?
Oh, listen. Sometimes when you think to yourself, I need a hearty breakfast, but I don't have a lot of time. When you can combine pancakes, sausage, and a stick, you know that's good eating.
I knew where he was going. The minute he opened his mouth, 410 milligrams of sodium per serving, 250 calories. That's not bad.
Okay, can I ask you?
That's not bad.
May I ask you a question?
15 grams of fat.
Okay. I this question needs to be asked because I do not feel like people are properly educated when it comes to nutritional information, Tony.
Right. Thank goodness you're here, doctor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If there's one person you need to turn to for nutritional advice, it's fitness influencer Fingers Malloy. Having said that, do people know what their daily allowance of sodium is, what should be? I mean, you just rattled out numbers. 6,000 milliliters of sodium and 49 megagrams of fat. And do people actually know, looking at the box, like, oh, that's a lot of sodium, or that's not too much sodium at all?
You would know this if you paid attention to the group text. Secondly,
we know how to party.
I think people who have certain health issues, right, hypertension or things like that, they're very aware of what their sodium is any given moment of any given day, right? I think that they know for sure. You know, because you don't even go to see a doctor.
No, I never look at the back of a package for nutritional information on anything.
Do you really?
Who needs that? I got enough going on. And honestly, when you think about it, when it comes to this nutritional information that these companies really don't want to put on the back of their packages, they're forced to do it.
Yes.
Who has the time to read that?
I think we would agree that if they could just put on their healthiest, they would. That would be it. They'd be fine and they'd be good. Let me go back to the list here. The Banquet Brown and Serve original 10 fully cooked sausage links.
Delicious.
So 10 links. How many people does that serve? 10?
Serve 6, serves 1. That's what I say.
3 links, 180 calories, 410 milligrams of sodium, 2 carbs, 7 grams of protein. I'm sorry. Aside from maybe it being a little high in salt content, I don't see the issue here.
Here's the only issue that
you eat the bug.
Well, there's that. Well, first of all, it says it's made with pork and turkey. Nobody needs turkey sausage in their life. Having said that, I'm hoping that the sausage is brown because it's fully cooked and not because they add some sort of weird brown dye to it to make it look even more appealing.
Oh, speaking of dyes, red dye number 3 has now been banned by the FDA. That just happened this week.
Why was I not made aware of this?
You again, group text, group chat. You should really, if you'd stop talking about personal things, we'll let you back in.
Oh, well, I can't help it. Sometimes I need advice about what swimsuit I should buy.
Red dye number 3, which was banned out of cosmetics and some other things in 1990, and now by that was my lighter, by the way, if you didn't know what that sound was. I think it's mid 2027, January 2027.
So what exactly do they put red dye in? Is it just cosmetics, or is it like a red M&Ms and code red Mountain Dew?
Betty Crocker sprinkles, Ensure strawberry. Yes.
Betty Crocker sprinkles.
Right.
I don't know what to believe in anymore. I thought that was naturally red. You mean they dye those sprinkles?
Number 3 on the list. Number 3, Hot Pockets, Applewood bacon, egg, and cheese. I could eat 4 of those right now. That sounds so good.
I'll tell you something.
290 calories, by the way, per sandwich, 11 grams of fat, 620 milligrams of sodium, 37 carbs, and 9 grams protein.
So here's what's impressive about what the people at Hot Pocket have done with their technology, Tony. There was a time you had to put it in some sort of titanium sleeve and put it in the microwave. You remember this, Tony. You're a Hot Pocket connoisseur. Somewhere along the line, they've developed the technology. My guess is that titanium sleeve, it's now just put in the crust, and you could put it in the microwave without that sleeve anymore, Tony. It's wonderful, the innovations over at the Hot Pockets. No. Do you put yours in the oven, or do you put them in the microwave?
When's the last time I had a Hot Pocket? You're talking to a family, people. We make our own calzones.
Really?
Oh yeah. But oh, you should. And if you have kids, so much fun, so easy. Buy the mozzarella. Buy whether you want to get some ragut or some other cheeses. get a couple of fillings that you think the kids will like, and you can buy the pizza dough, right? You can buy it at a supermarket. And then, you throw flour on the countertop and you let the kids kind of roll it out. And then they get to put in, they put in the cheese and they put in the blocks of cheese or however you get the mozzarella, the shredded, and then they can add their own stuff. And then you put it right into the pizza oven. You don't even fancy pizza oven, just regular oven. And the next thing you know, they're making their own calzone and you know what's in it. It's an awesome thing to do.
So there was a time where I would listen to all this and think, oh, there goes Tony again, being an elitist about all the stuff that he makes at home. Last week, we brought up a bunch of new equipment that we're going to use because we're really upping our video game up to the next level. You can find Eat, Drink, Smoke on YouTube and in Rumble.
We've leveled up.
And we decided to live stream a kind of a reaction video to football. And Tony had popcorn not made in a bag in the microwave. And I have to say, Tony, you're exactly right. It was fantastic.
It's fantastic. By the way, it was avocado oil.
Okay.
And kernels, like the way Grandma used to do it. It's better popcorn. And anybody who thinks microwave popcorn is good is out of their mind. It's always better when you make it. How much better was it?
75% better. Sometimes you need popcorn in 38 seconds, Tony. Sometimes it's a popcorn emergency.
You want me to make you some right now?
Oh, no, that's okay.
I can make it right now.
No, I wouldn't want you to do that.
Right now.
5 buckets.
Try new bourbons. Try new things. You don't know what it is that you're going to like, but it's kind of amazing, Fingers. You talk about whether or not in cigars, we've been doing a lot of broadleaf. We've had a lot of Pennsylvania broadleaf going on as of late. How about the idea of things finished in certain casks? We've done a couple having to do with sherry, and now we've got a bourbon that is finished in Cabernet Sauvignon casks for an undisclosed amount of time. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Fingers, are you sniffing?
3.5 years.
You can't tell. Oh, I don't think your nose is that good.
Well, not with that attitude.
The I.W. Harper Distilling Company with the I.W. Harper Cabernet Cask Reserve coming in at 90 proof. Sorry, Fingers Malloy. Sorry, he doesn't applaud for anything that isn't over 100 proof. No age statement on this and no mash bill. Now, according to a press release, as the people of Breaking Bourbon put it, it is aged for 4 years before the finishing time in the Sauvignon casks. So that's when they say you don't know how long it's actually aged for. Cabernet Sauvignon, right? You can name a multiplicity of flavors that you might get from a wine like that. Certainly different than a Pinot or Merlot, etc. This is a little lighter than I normally go. This is more honey in its color than it is a deep amber or richer. So it does come across a little bit lighter. We have it in the Glencairn glasses here. That's the one that it's got the foot and then it kind of bows out and comes back in. And so you can kind of concentrate the nose, really get a look at it. There is a tremendous amount of viscosity here, right? It's sticking to the glass quite a bit, but that nose, Fingers Malloy, where are you on?
Okay, so first of all, to me, there's vanilla, a bit of oak, and then there's an
ethanol hit, man. It's 90
really
proof. It's 90. Now I will admit I have had a lingering cold. I believe the Latin term is sucks. And it could affect one or two things. But yeah, there was a little bit of an ethanol there. And you said vanilla right off the bat. I'm like, I don't, nah.
And there's almost like a cranberry.
Oh, cranberry.
All
right. I'm with you on darker fruits, right? I could absolutely feel that. There's definitely there's not a sugary sweetness, but a generalized kind of sweet brown sugar. I would say, not frosting. Way different flavors.
Mm-mm.
It's nice.
I'm not getting that ethanol that you're getting though.
But no, there is no oak. There's no. It could be dampened, of course, by the Cabernet. You get oak?
Yes.
You lie. And now I'm going to talk about your sister. That's That is not possible. You are not getting it.
Okay, I guess I'm not getting oak. I'm getting oak, but that's nice. But again,
it's pretty. The sting is gone. It was just that first hit, I guess.
yeah.
That is very, very nice. But sniffing your bourbon is not enough. Just it never has been. Fingers Malloy, you ready for this?
Tony, I have been ready for this all day.
Fingers Malloy is going to take a sip doing what we call the Kentucky Chew. That means he's taking the juice, moving it around the palate, trying to get a feel and understanding of the bourbon. You might want to take 2 sips. The first one to really set the taste buds, and the second sip really to get an idea of the flavors of this bourbon. Fingers, what do you got?
Oak, vanilla.
Again with the oak,
yeah.
you lying fraud.
No, okay. And then, I thought I was getting cranberry on the nose, but I'm starting to agree with you. It's more of a darker fruit on the palate. Boy, it's really nice. There's absolutely no sting on the tongue, maybe a gentle warmth in the chest. This is it definitely, I could see this being something that you could bring to the table and a seasoned bourbon drinker absolutely loving it. But then also it's not something that would overwhelm someone that normally doesn't drink bourbon.
This is I'm going in. I mean, it is a nice nose, but I'm going in. I heard what you had to say, and I don't believe you at all. This is from the people at IW Harper, the Cabernet Cask Reserve 90 proof, and a beautiful bottle. I like the square bottle. I like how they did that front label. Very, very well done. Here we go. Here we go. Going in.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call the Saginaw swish. And he's still swishing. And he's still Saginawing. What do you think there, sports fan? Oh.
I don't know why. My tongue is on fire.
Really?
Oh my God. The sting on the front of the tongue, the front flat of the tongue. Ha! Ha!
I'm shocked.
Agaga.
This has got to be the cold or something happening with you.
So very little warmth in the chest. You can actually feel it going down the throat. That is there's a good lusciousness there. Definitely the dark fruit, which you got to apply to the Cabernet Cask, right? Definitely happening right there. I'm sorry, but what you're saying is oak isn't, what's the word I'm looking for?
Oak?
I was gonna say isn't there, but yours works as well. That's not oak, man. That is not oak. I don't. Yeah.
Is it marzipan?
No, but it is a little chocolatey, right? Right. If you take that sweetness and kind of expand it out, use it like, I don't know if that's vanilla on there. I think that you're getting from those darker fruits, which could easily be seen as a chocolate. There's a piece of that. It's very nice. It's much sweeter than I thought it would be, but maybe that's my fault for not being more thoughtful to the idea of a Cabernet Cask finishing and how long it's in there. It makes me think that it's been in there for a while. And the finish is nice caramel and that chocolate, and maybe that's vanilla. Maybe it's just getting like a kind of creamy there, almost moussey kind of effect. Not bad. Not bad at all. If you like yourself some sweet.
You could talk me into a little bit of chocolate on the finish. For me, what is really staying on the palate for a long period of time on the finish is that vanilla and that dark fruit. And it really, it's not coating your mouth to where it doesn't go, but that it's just staying there. And that dark fruit and vanilla, man, I'm telling you, if I sit back and now you're suggesting it, I'm maybe getting some chocolate.
Is this in your liquor cabinet? The IW Harper Cabernet Cask Reserve, is it in your liquor cabinet for $56 a bottle?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No,
wow.
Not you.
No.
It's too sweet for you.
Yeah. Wait, I need more of a hit. And the gods came down from heaven and said, Fingers Malloy, we will give you what it is you desire.
Really? It's about time. Casinos on every block.
Okay, that's not what they're giving you.
Drat.
Tea, drink, smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. Jolt Cola is making a comeback, and according to the New York Post, more caffeine than ever before.
This sounds like a horrible idea.
You're not a Jolt Cola guy?
I was.
Yeah, there it is.
I was when I was 15 years old. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Jolt was very popular for you kids under 40. Back in the 1980s, it was a simpler time when you were taught to get underneath your desk if you were about 3 seconds away from global thermonuclear war.
Right.
And kids would go and buy a 6-pack of Jolt. They would drink 3. Their heart would go to 0 to 60 in about 2.6 seconds. And
Wait,
it was a wonderful time to be alive.
First of all, their heart was at 0?
At 0. It was a calm, simpler time just thinking about global thermonuclear war.
Yeah, we didn't hide under the desks because at that time, everyone was like, the desk isn't going to help you. You're going to die. It has all the sugar, twice the caffeine of Coke and Pepsi. Being relaunched is a Jolt Cola, and this is going to sell like crazy. I'm still the only person I know who, in a recreational way, because I think I have tried them on the show, in a recreational way, has never had an energy drink. There's coffee, and there's certainly caffeine in the colas. You ever have the colas? You ever have a cola?
I love me a good cola.
But the idea of Jolt, the idea of energy drinks, I don't.
So you're telling me a teenage Tony Katz, fresh in his freshman year at the Arizona State University,
That was me,
who needed to study for an exam and pull an all-nighter. You didn't run down to the local grocery and say, "Shopkeep, give me your best Jolt Cola."
First things first, if you knew me as a freshman at Arizona State University, you didn't want to know me. I was a mess.
Oh, why? Oh, no, please explain why.
Please. I mean, it's not fun. I was depressed. I was miserable. I was unhappy. It led to being suicidal. Wait, you want my whole story? I've talked about this before. I'm not. Oh, did I ruin your fun time?
Jolt Cola is back, ladies and gentlemen, and better than ever.
By the way, I admittedly, that's no joke. That was my 20s. It was terrible and it was awful. It gets better. 988, if you're ever feeling like, my God, I want to end it all. Don't. Life can get better. Here, hey, how are you?
988.
It's the suicide prevention hotline. They made it a 3-digit thing.
When did that happen?
So the normal number is 800-273-8255, which I never called, right? Just because I didn't. That happened like 2 years ago.
You just dial 988 and it goes to the suicide prevention hotline.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. There were stories in the newspapers.
That's the problem. I canceled my subscription.
They put it on the transom. So I don't get to talk joyfully about my college days because it was miserable, and everything after that was miserable. But no, like I saw people having good times. I saw it from afar, and I said, why can't I do that?
Well, you know how I like to say from time to time, Tony, that friends don't let friends fireball. Not a fan of
it's
fireball.
gonna be a fantastic admission right here. It's gonna be glorious.
So you know how I like to say friends don't let friends fireball. The other thing when it comes to this, you mentioned people having a good time. You never normally had a good time drinking the Jolt Cola because it was the original 5-hour energy drink.
Right.
I mean, that was something that people would consume if they had to be up all night, if they were driving a big rig across the country. Or they had to study all night for an exam. That's when they would say, "Get me my Jolt Cola," and then it disappeared because listen, I don't want to speculate why it disappeared. I think I remember why, but I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to say why because I don't know for sure. I don't have the boys at the lab didn't give me the report to tell me why it got pulled off the
this
shelves.
new company, Redcon One, which is bringing Jolt back, does not want to market it to anybody under 21. Yeah, you've got a problem in the weightings, and everybody knows it, right? Because every 12-year-old is going to drink this thing.
Yes,
every single one. And no, look, I'm not. It's a legal product. I'm not going to tell them not to. Right? There's no law that says that they have to only sell to people who are 21 and older. This isn't an alcoholic product whatsoever. But they already know, like, people are going to have issue with what it is that we're selling. I just can't believe people do it. The caffeine addiction, or I don't even know it's an addiction. Is it just a desire? Like, it seems like such an odd, strange, peculiar crutch, right? It's an odd thing to see people kind of pushing for and going for, that they have to constantly be in this place, in this world where, oh man, I'm feeling tired, I need another caffeine hit. Well, dear Lord, whatever happened into just like grit, just bear it, just get the job done. You got to constantly be sucking down energy drinks. And I know I sound like get off my lawn and yelling at clouds. I don't know if it's real or if it's affect.
Well,
I don't have an answer.
Here's the deal. I was while you were talking, I was trying to get the caffeine information on a popular energy drink. Monster energy drink, a 16-ounce can contains 160 milligrams of caffeine. So now you have Jolt, which has 200 milligrams of caffeine. So it's taking the whole caffeine content to the next level. And there have been discussions that some of these energy drinks have too much caffeine as it is. And then you've got Jolt coming here and it just taking it to the next level. I'm going to be interested to see what happens over the long term, if there's going to be some pushback about this product.
Let me give you a product that might get pushback. Dunkin' Donuts, ladies and gentlemen, to which I'm a fan. A Dunkin', they now call themselves. They partnered with a brand called Native to create limited edition collection of donut-inspired lotions. You're right. This is fantastic. Deodorant, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, 2-in-1, hand and body lotion. You can get it in strawberry frosted, vanilla sprinkle, blueberry cobbler, and Boston cream. And I'm telling you right now, I'm buying them all.
Well, here's the danger.
Not for my wife. No.
For you?
Through her. Daddy is going to smell delicious.
You want to smell like strawberry frosted vanilla sprinkle?
I only hope. Which, oddly enough, for a short time was my name on Tinder.
Oh, there it is. My only concern about this product, Tony, and I think it's a valid one, is if you wear this product, you're going to be hungry all the live long day.
Am I going to make other people hungry? That's the question. This is smart. Smelling like donut is good. Smelling like glaze is good.
Smelling like glaze is good. That should be their marketing campaign.
That actually is our new podcast. Glaze.
I'm telling you, if you could hear the off-the-air ideas for podcasts that we come up with, you'd love it.
Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Smoking the Micallef Red. We were doing the Toro, the 6x52 with that Mexican San Andreas Habano wrapper. Definitely bringing the spice. Pennsylvania broadleaf in the binder, Nicaraguan part of the filler. And I'm telling you right now, I still have not put my finger on what that flavor is. I just dig it. It's a fine cigar at $8 a stick.
It's crazy.
This is in the humidor. I don't know if this is every day. This is weekly. That's where I'm at.
And here's the other thing too. I think that it's a situation for me where you could definitely start off in the morning with this stick if you wanted a little bit more spice, not a typical a lot of times I like to start with a Connecticut, something mild. This packs a little bit more punch obviously than the Connecticut, but it's a little bit of spice, but then there's not a lot of other things that hit you in the face to where it's like man, I don't know if I'd want to start my morning with this.
No, this wouldn't be a morning cigar
You
for me.
no?
Nah, no.
See, it's not hitting me as hard
Really?
apparently as
This would be this. This how you start.
I
a
said
day?
I said normally I like to start off with a Connecticut, but I could see mixing this in for a morning stick every once in a while if I wanted a little bit of spice. It's not overwhelming with the spice, and then there's not a lot of other
Are you
things
saying
coming.
this would be your brunch cigar?
Okay, I'll go with that.
That's
Brunch
a
cigar. Yeah.
That's an interesting terminology. Let's add that to the to the Eat Drink Smoke dictionary. No, I do the spice here, I think, really does it. While it came down a little bit from that beginning initial spice, it's there, it's present, it's really and truly hitting. And what that spice is it white pepper? It's a mix of kind of white and red pepper. I find it enjoyable for sure. But I can't figure out what that other flavor is. We've talked about floral. Is it earthy? I don't really think it's earthy. It's kind of bright. And now that I'm really ensconced into the second third of this cigar, it is very much wood. It is, whether that you want to call it wood in general or a cedar. It's almost, I've never used this expression before. It's almost like a chewy wood. There's the fresh split log. Why? What? I'm trying to explain it. Why are you mocking me?
No, God, I want to hear more about the fresh split log,
Which was the name of Fingers band in college. It's that kind of flavor that I'm getting, and I like it. Again, this is not a daily, but once a week, absolutely. What I wouldn't, what I would not do with this cigar? This would not be a yard work cigar for me. I think there's too much spice for it to be a yard work cigar. Other people might be like, "Oh, this is everything." I think what's good about this is that I think that for a lot of people, right? The Micallef blue, Micallef. You could do that all the time. The Micallef black, for people who like a bold cigar, who like a full-bodied cigar, there's a reason for that. I think that everybody can find a place for this in their humidor. Like, if it will fit some part of your week, some part of your month. You don't think so?
Agreed. Totally agree. Especially at $8 a stick. My goodness, we've had no problems maintaining it. It's well constructed. You have an even burn. I have an even burn. It's wonderful at that price point. It's a no-brainer. It's in the humidor.
You don't like me calling it chewy wood? Fresh split log?
Fresh split log. We need to add that to the Eat, Drink, Smoke dictionary.
I'm saying fresh
Yes.
split log.
Yes, absolutely.
That is it. And we are drinking, as Fingers Malloy raises it to his lips right there, from IW Harper. We're doing their Cabernet Cask Reserve. So this spends an initial amount of time in the barrel, the first use charred oak, American oak barrel, and then it moves to a Cabernet Sauvignon barrel. And that's why they say it's kind of unknown. It's 4 years in the barrel, according to the people at BreakingBourbon.com, for being the bourbon. And then how much time is it spent in the Cabernet cask? This is unknown. Now, Fingers added a little bit of water to his, just a stickle of water. I got the small cubes here. That's what I'm going in right there and checking this out, Fingers more.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and go first this time?
I would love to.
Wow.
I'm sensing animosity.
No, not at all. I want to hear about the fresh split log and the bourbon.
My chewy wood and my fresh split log, which is.
I did see Chewy Wood open for Mort Saul. He did a fantastic job.
The more I say it, the worse it sounds.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing the Chewy Wood chomp.
That's just sweet. The sting is down a little bit. The sting was real.
Mm-hmm.
The sting was real. It's actually very nice on the rocks. There's still a little bit of heat in the throat. Very tiny bit center chest. You said you got oak, and I said that you're a lying fraud. Which is accurate. It's not oak, man. I don't know what that is. It's nice. It's nice. At $56 a bottle, I'm not in though.
Yeah.
I got to admit,
I can see that because you You definitely like sweeter bourbon, or you don't like sweeter bourbon, and this is definitely sweeter.
It's definitely sweeter. Where are you? You just added a little bit of water. Now, what water is going to do is water brings down proof. Water will make some flavors more pronounced, subdue others. And you want to add the water or add a cube because really, maybe you'll find that a bourbon doesn't work for you neat. It works better for you this way. And it's not, defiling the bourbon. How dare you add ice to it? Tell those people to buy their own damn bottle. That's what you should tell them. What do you got?
Well, I didn't get to put as much water in this as I would have liked to. I think I got a half a drop.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. But lately, I've been putting way too much in because I needed one of those eyedropper things.
Why not? You want to order one right now as he's taking a sip? We can order you a dropper. No one's trying to keep this from you.
I'm financing one right now over 30 years. For me, it brought out a little bit more of that spice that before
more of the spice.
Yeah, it's not as sweet for me. But I liked it. I've got more of a sweet tooth than you do. This, I've adjusted what I'm willing to spend on a bottle of bourbon, and for me,
$56.
Yeah, I could see this in my liquor cabinet.
Wow.
Yeah, look at me.
We've done this show a long time, and there's certain things, not for me. It's for him. Okay, we're kind of casual about it. You and I are having this is our first real divide.
Yeah, but I also believe that the cold that you have had is having an impact on
it.
Your
It is
palate.
a lingering nose thing right there, but it never developed into a cough. Never lost my voice. Never had any of those issues. It was sinus. Whatever this is, as I hit myself in the head, is sinus related right there. That's that. But it's time, Fingers Malloy, for news of the week.
Well, Tony, LA Mayor Karen Bass posed for photos at a cocktail party as the Palisades fire really exploded, and now there are very many calls for her to resign.
Right. So this is the mayor of Los Angeles. We know the wildfires, 25 people dead. She was in Ghana for the inauguration of the president there. I think Biden asked her to go, which is odd because she had promised she wouldn't leave the country when she was mayor. She had known about issues. She had known about wins. She went anyway. There was nobody in charge because the deputy mayor had already resigned. And there she is. The city's on fire with no leadership, to the extent that she's even leadership, and she's smiling at a cocktail party. It's just the kind of elitism that Hollywood is known for and is now upset with, which is unique in its own right. But I do hope they're able to get rid of Karen Bass.
I don't understand why mayors are making these trips to begin with. I just, unless they're besties, I don't understand why this trip is even necessary.
The president sent you, and you're like, oh, I'm very important. I guess I'm going to go to Ghana. That's why.
Outstanding.
It was the Philadelphia Eagles. It was the Green Bay Packers in a game that was absolutely awful in the first round of the playoffs in the NFL, and the Eagles win that game. But if you know anything about Eagles fans, and for the people of Philadelphia, don't hate me. The fans are insane. Now, this, I think, can be said for fans all across the country. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is Fingers Malloy. There are fans who they can't control themselves. They're out of their minds. They're out of their heads. They're nuts. Well, at where the Eagles are playing, there were a couple of Green Bay fans, man and a woman, a husband and wife, I believe. And the Eagles fans kind of gently ribbing the Green Bay fans. And as the game goes on, it gets a little more nasty, specifically from one guy. Then the Green Bay fans are like, hey, enough, cut it out. And the Eagles fan is calling her 4-letter names, this, that, things I cannot say on the show, abusing. Someone now starts videotaping the thing. And at that moment, it's too late. This guy lost his job from what I know, and has been banned from going to the stadium to watch the Eagles, maybe from watching anything else at that stadium. Now, Fingers Malloy, you are a man of thoughts on this, having gone to games and being a football fanatic for your high-flying Detroit Lions, who will be taking on the Washington Commanders. For those of you who listen to the radio show, if you listen to the podcast, they've already played the Commanders. Gosh, I hope the Lions won, because otherwise Fingers is going to be a real problem to deal
Oh my goodness! You actually said that you hope that the Lions are going to win,
just for my sake.
Oh, okay. Not because it would make me happy.
God, that is the last thing I'm concerned with. Has the fan gotten worse, or is the fan just now, or the insane fan just now on full display because of video?
Both. Listen, Eagles fans have a reputation, right?
Yes,
at
they
one
do.
point, I think, if I'm mistaken, Lincoln Financial Field, they may actually have a jail cell in the stadium to deal with
the
fans.
old veteran stadium
did it? Okay, I don't know if the new one does, but the old one, at least, we know did. And this is something that there needs to be. You know how I have a passion, Tony, for two things: one, social media outrage, and two, national conversations.
That's exactly who you are. Nothing says national conversations like Fingers Malloy with his cigar side chat.
There it is. But no, there needs to be a conversation about fan behavior because it has gotten out of control. It's nothing new, like you said, and it isn't just one fan base. Eagles fans have a reputation of, booing Santa Claus, for crying out loud. But there's no reason why
they put batteries in snowballs.
But there's no reason why a fan of an opposing team should not feel safe going into a stadium and watching a game. Now, okay, you can expect good-natured ribbing and stuff. I'll never forget, I watched the final game at the Big Sombrero in Tampa.
Bay.
Yes, Tampa Bay Buccaneers were hosting the Detroit Lions in a playoff game. It was Barry Sanders' last playoff game. Barry had just gotten 2,000 yards the week prior and decided to fly down with my fiance to the game. And the winner of that game, the Tampa Bay Lions game, was going to have to go to Green Bay the following week. And, the Lions had a terrible history of playing at Lambeau Field. At the time, Tampa had this bizarre record of games that were played below 42 degrees. They were something like 0-36. It was crazy. So before the game started, we were all tailgating and having a good time, saying, this is our Super Bowl. Isn't this wonderful? Whoever wins, we know we're going to go to Green Bay next week and lose. And everybody was good-natured. Man, when a playoff game happens and the passions start ramping up, that fan base changed and got ugly. And by the end of the game, it was clear that the Lions were going to lose. I believe they lost by 10. And Frank Reich, in typical same old Lions move, it was fourth down and they were driving to try to score, and he spiked the ball to stop the clock on fourth down. So just an awful way to end it. And we're trying to leave it. I've got my fiance under my arm trying to protect her. We've got people shoving us, throwing stuff at us. And I thought, what happened to you people? 3 hours ago, we were all getting along. And now it's, these people are all liquored up and they're all fired up and saying ridiculous things that they were going to go to the Super Bowl and they were going to go beat Green Bay the following week. And of course they got it handed to them. But so the point of that story is, yeah, sure. It happens in Philadelphia. It can happen in Tampa. It can happen in Detroit. It can happen in multiple places. But I believe at this point, there needs to be an effort by ownership to kind of rein in some of this fan behavior, because there's no reason why an opposing fan should feel threatened and uncomfortable in a state, which it's just a football game, for crying out loud.
So banned from the stadium, and the dude lost his job. I mean, what else is ownership supposed to do at that moment?
Listen, I think it's a great example.
You got 60,000 people in a stadium, and one guy is a schmuck. I'm not quite sure what else.
No, ownership, the Eagles ownership did the right thing by banning this clown. I don't know if I'm cool with him losing his job over this. Are you? I mean, people. Once again, you have the internet detectives figuring out who this person is, and tracking down his employer, and that led to public pressure. That's a whole different world.
Well, I don't know if it led to public pressure. I think it led to the owner, the company, seeing this, being like, "What in the world?" and knowing what it might cost them as a problem going forward. I think that anytime you work for a company, there are certain rules. I didn't say that this guy should be fired for a political opinion on social media. He is verbally berating this woman. If the husband or boyfriend, whatever it was, had really pushed back against him, this could have been a serious physical altercation.
Well,
which is what the Green Bay couple saying is like, we would have gotten ourselves killed.
Well, that when I was walking out of that Tampa Bay game, I wanted to punch about 8 people in the face, but I know what would happen at that point. I would have 20 Tampa Bay fans beating the heck out of me, and then it would have been, oh, the Lions fans started it.
Right.
So you're in a no-win situation if you try to retaliate.
So I get that a company would say, you don't get to represent us if you do that.
But are you representing a company when you're not at work and you're away and you're at a football game?
And I think that there are degrees to the thing. There are degrees to the thing.
Oh, please stop. I want to interrupt right now. I'm not defending the guy. Okay.
Right.
So let's not, I'm not trying to make him a
this is a
sympathetic figure.
About philosophically, how are these things handled? And I think that if you had just had screw you, Green Bay sucks, no, Philly sucks, no, your mother sucks. Fine. It would have been, Tommy, what are you doing? This is on a scale of 1 to dumb. You don't know how to control yourself. You never probably knew how to control yourself. And you created an incident that you knew was going to cause you an issue, and you didn't care. You lost your minds. Now, the company didn't have to fire him, right? I don't think they were compelled to fire him, but I do get it.
I think enough people found out where he worked and started hammering their social media where they didn't want that to represent that image and representing where the company.
It should be the company that looks at this and says, "Yeah, we're not gonna put up with that. You've got a thing that you got to handle, and we don't want to be around it." But we could keep debating that. But moron, right?
Yes,
the guy is a moron.
Yes,
we're clear about that.
Yes.
Drinking the IW Harper. This is the Cabernet Cask Reserve, $56 a bottle. Fingers Malloy is a yes. I am a no. You'll drink it for yourself and decide. As for this Micallef Red, Micallef. Oh yeah, the Toro, $8, $8 a stick. Absolutely. There is no question. Make sure you head over to eatdrinksmokeshow.com, see everything we've got going on. Check out the videos if you're not watching them already. See what we have. And on Twitter, go Eat Drink Smoke. Instagram, Eat Drink Smoke Podcast. This is Eat Drink Smoke. Was that your little wave there? Was that it right there? Oh.